Welcome back to the Iron Perspective. I'm your host, JD Denham. I'm excited to be here. I hope you're excited to be here with me. Today is going to be a great day. I have a guest on the show who he and I have been I think watching each other's stuff on social media. That law of attraction is always in full effect, You throw out positive, you attract positive and vice versa and all that stuff. He and I have been talking here and there trying to get him on the show. Today's the day. Today's the day. I'm assuming you've seen him because I was telling him before we started recording. I see his little mug everywhere. I see him on Facebook, I see him on Instagram, and he's always dropping fire content about being positive and just being a better human and just doing good things, man. It's just be a decent human, man. How hard is that? So I would like to introduce Dave Puhky from Instagram. Dave, what's up, dude?
What's up, brother? What is going on? Good to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah, I love it, man. We finally get to talk. We finally get to see each other and talk on face to face, man. And I'm excited for this podcast because, we talked briefly about it before we started recording. But one of the coolest things about doing this is I get to talk to rad dudes, man. People that intrigue me. People that I'm like, I'm watching and what's he about? I like that. What's his story? So let's dig into your story, bro. I want to hear it. I want to hear some of your story. So before we get into your story, let's get into the first question I ask just about every single person because it's an important question for me. Because I think it's a powerful question asked directly to each person. So, Dave, who are you right now in life? 10 years ago, this question would be answered different. Who is Dave? How can you articulate it if people don't know you?
Great question. Well, just hearing 10 years ago, I'm the person that I always dreamt of being, and I think that's
Ooh,
uh, and I got there by setting the standard. That's what I preach in my life now. I came from someone that always, I don't have a physical transformation because I've been in jujitsu and kickboxing and sports my whole life, but mentally I was broken based off my trauma, and everybody has a sad story. Most people have worse stories and one with it. So
yep.
today I'm the person, that shows other people that if you set the standard for your own life, by how you live, you create your own surroundings around you. And
Boom.
yeah, I'm someone who
Mic drop.
shows people how to set the standard in their life because that's what's
I
changed
love it,
mine.
man.
I love
Yeah.
the guy I am today gets to love the person in the mirror. And outside of all the things I have in my life, that is the most powerful one that money can't buy.
Yeah. Mindset. Mindset, mindset, mindset. Mindset, mindset, mindset. I mean, that's what I heard out of that. Well, I agree with it. And most people I talk to have that similar story and kind of have that same mindset, if you will. Again, that law of attraction. And those are the people that I like to talk to. But my experience with at this point, it's been a lot of talking to a lot of men like you
Yeah.
with a story. And to get to that mindset, you usually got to go through some shit. You got to go through some hell. Now, for many, that's drug addiction, alcoholism, it's losing somebody. It doesn't matter. Eating disorders, it's
Yeah.
pornography addiction. It doesn't matter what it is. It manifests in all different forms. It's all the same thing. It's all
Yeah.
bondage to something that hinders you from being your best version. So let's talk about I want to talk on this podcast a little bit about the good, bad, and the ugly. Let's talk a little bit about the ugly. Let's talk about you younger and some of the stuff that probably cultivated you into who you are now.
Yeah, you're right. I said, I love just like, this is my favorite thing to talk about right now. And now as it's like, as I've grown older, I tell everybody this, like, if you don't have people in your life, if you just have small talk and conversations, and a lot of times it's drinking buddies, but it's like, I really don't find the need to hang out if I can't have a deep conversation with somebody. And I genuinely believe I'm, like with what I do. And I believe I'm at one of the best at sitting down with someone and having a deep conversation because, you know, like you said, that universal alignment, we wouldn't even be talking right now if there wasn't a reason for it and we didn't, have that, that like-mindedness. So yeah, the ugly God, there was a lot, I grew up, I'm from Canada, Salt Spring Island, a little town in Canada, Salt Spring Island, BC. Really good athlete. when I was about, the parents got divorced when I was 5. And it's funny when I, as you know, and with men, you said you talk like a lot of men too. So many people get caught up on their story as the reason why they can't do something. And I think it's the biggest reason why you can't, right? Because you
Yeah.
overcome so much. Everyone gets so caught up, you hear this, and I'm sure you hear it all the time, like, like that we know better, or, guys still talking about their 20s. And like, I was someone who did that for a long time. I was 13.
The
I was a
glory
really good
days.
hockey. Yeah,
Right.
really good hockey player when I was younger. And then I had this like event, I would say like a bit like my dad remarried this girl. And there was this event where I came back from hockey school. I actually don't really tell this much, but I've been on quite a few podcasts. But yeah, it's I came back from hockey school one day, and I was didn't have any really. It wasn't. I was 13, and anyway, moral of the story: I came home, all my bags were on the porch. I grew up on a farm,
Wow.
like nice farm on Salt Spring, and I was like, "This is weird." So I went inside, and there was like I sat down, and my dad was in there, and he's like, "Oh, I need to have a chat with you." And then this he just asked me, he's like, "Yeah, I guess my stepmom accused me of like physically abusing my like brother, who was like 2, is a
Wow.
crazy story. So he married
Wow.
this girl. My dad was very well off. And I
Okay.
don't want to shit on this person like this because who knows? She listens to, like, I don't know, but it's like I've
Yeah.
forgiven right now. But during the
Yeah.
time, it was like this crazy, like, I don't want to say a setup. I was 13 years old. The
Yeah.
cops were there. I took like a
Oh,
lie
wow.
detector. Like, so I was, yeah, it was crazy. And
Oh,
I
that's
ended
heavy.
up going like lie detector tests. Like I was 13-year-old kid, had no idea what was
Oh
going
my
on.
gosh. Whoa.
Um, yeah.
Heavy.
And then from that point on, like as I'm older now, right, I kind of went down like this, obviously it was all like it was like to me it's just like I still don't understand why, but there's a lot of things in my life I don't understand why that happened, but they
Yeah. Why
happened, and
doesn't
I'm
always
and
get answered, bro?
yeah, and I'm
It
and I'm
doesn't.
weirdly enough, I'm kind of grateful now because without all these things in my life, I would never be exactly where I am today. So, yeah, I went down a super destructive path. Like I look back at it now, and I always say, like, nobody's a victim. I would never be the person I am today. Like I need essentially
Right.
happy. Like it sounds weird. Sure, would I have done it differently? Fuck yeah, I would have. There's a lot of things that but you just learn that like if you can just learn the lesson from everything. I don't. Some days maybe I don't know the lesson, but I wouldn't have met this person. I would never have
Yeah.
ran into my wife at this exact time 7 years ago.
100%.
So yeah, it
100%.
happened. And
Well,
when I so this happened, and I started going down. Like I started drinking at 13, and I got a really addictive
such reason.
personality. I crashed 2
We do,
cars
Mario.
in high school. I was like I was the crazy guy, I don't know how I was popular. No, one of those popular kids, but everyone stayed away from. I was like the bad boy the girls wanted to date, and not to my own. Like it's never who I wanted to be. It really. I was kind of masking it all up, right? All the pain, and I got 3 DUIs before I was 19. I
Wow.
crashed a car,
Dang, bro.
jail, 20 days in jail. Lost my license for 4 years, and I blew my hockey career, obviously, and just was on a self-destructive path of pain.
Yeah.
Why did this happen to me? I'm kicked out of my just crazy shit, that was going on like for a teenager. So yeah, I ended
Poor
up,
me, why me, what, who this?
yeah,
I got, and then like just swimming in a sea of just like pity for yourself is a bondage in itself.
yeah. Once that you start turning 21, you're like, all right, well, it happened. What was I maybe a victim when I was 13? Yeah. People can be like when they're you can't really you don't really know what's going on, but at a certain age you reach right. Okay, well now I'm just blaming. Like now I'm just like no one else is gonna fucking the victim. The victim only. I'm the only one living this pain.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm like
Totally.
these people. Like I'm actually proving these people right now. See, Dave's crazy. Like, yeah, I'm fucking being crazy, like crazy as shit. Going on 2-day
Right.
benders. You know what I mean? Like fighting all the time, and I remember I went to rehab. So I went to rehab. This was when I was 21.
So let's
Um,
pause for a second and catch up to that. So you're 21 around this time? You got 3 DUIs by
about a year.
19. You didn't do the first 2 right, so you figured you should do the third one even
Yeah,
better.
yeah. Well,
There
and,
you go.
and the irony is I should have got another one, but I got pulled over and I got my car, like just an absolute disaster.
Bro, if
So
you were in America, bro, dog, you would be in jail for a long time. Three
I
DUIs,
know,
they throw you in for a long time.
right? And thank God that like it's not technically a felony in America. Like it's a charge, like a charge, but it's not a felony in America because now I can come to like I'm here in America. Like I have a criminal record, and I think it's a pardon now because it's been so long. So that like it's almost 20 years ago, but so that never
Yeah.
because my sister lived in L.A. It never affected me. Thank God. Even though what, I always think at the time I probably needed harsher punishment because clearly I didn't figure it. I fucking didn't figure it out early enough. I should have figured it out sooner, but is what it is.
Bro, I
What do
mean,
you do?
I say it often, Dave. I mean, because I talk to a lot of people, like I said, like you and me, and just guys that have been through some shit. Like oddly enough, most our wounds are self-inflicted, but they're still wounds.
Oh yeah,
You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
Most of my gunshot wounds in my head are from me, but they still suck. You know what I mean?
yeah,
For I had some people on there, and and many have articulated in different forms, and then I articulated in a different form. But it's just some of us, I think, come out the womb just a little bit different, man. I look at it like we haven't had our V8. We're walking crooked, man, and we don't know how to freaking control this energy of fire that we're built with. That we're like, ah, like I was a kid and just like, wow, I had all this energy that like, and I thought everybody was like that, and I was so wrong that not everybody was like that, and guys like us, are very similar to the degree where the best way that we can start to tame that when we don't understand it is pour liquor on it or pour drugs on it or slam some dope,
yeah,
whatever. It manifests in these ways that are so self-destructive. But on the flip side of that is when we do understand it and do learn to control it and do put it into good form, we freaking thrive, baby. We literally are the types of people that can change the damn world
hmm
because we have, for lack of a better way to say it, the balls to do it. We
yep,
have the drive to do it. And, you know what I mean? Like we have the moxie to do it, dude. And it's always a very similar story in different forms. Like your story is like my story and like 15 other dudes that
yep,
I've interviewed, bro. But
yeah,
ultimately, when we do it right, we end up where we both are now,
yep,
carrying a message of you can change. I've done it. You can do it. Here's how you do it. You know what I mean? And it's such a powerful message. I say it very simply that, like, dude, our story is our sword, man. Use it, tell it,
yep,
share it, right?
yep.
So, okay, so you were into some drug addiction and alcoholism and all that stuff, typical stuff. So did some jail time, as did I. I know it well. How did you stumble onto like your new life? How did you stumble onto getting onto social media? I would imagine you probably stumbled onto it and didn't expect it.
Man, it was crazy when after I love what you said about the story, right? Because it's like, man, it's just you hear it all the time. It's it should be a reason to change, and especially we'll get into it. I got into martial arts when I was 21. I stopped playing hockey, and I remember when I got out of rehab, I was working at this place called like I guess it would be in America like a Dick's Sporting Goods, but like it was hockey where we lived. So I sold hockey
Okay.
equipment, and I remember this guy being like, "Oh, I do MMA." This is like 17 years ago. And I was just always an
Right.
athlete. Right? It was never about really fighting for me, honestly. I was like, "Oh yeah," in my head, I'm like, "Sure." I looked at this kid Darcy. I'm like, I would pump this kid. Okay. And
Right.
of course, I go to MMA class. Guy kicks my ass, like just like
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
nicely too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
was hooked. So I got into that, and it was funny because I've always been an all or nothing kind of guy. Like this, you know how it is. This is everything I've ever done. It's like only got one speed, and
Go what? Go
it's a
go go go
it's a
go go
blessing,
go.
and a
Love it.
curse in certain areas. You got to
Right.
know where you're putting your energy. But so I got into that really heavily. I was obsessed. I over the 12 years. I am a jiu-jitsu black belt now. I competed at every
Wow.
belt level, white belt, blue belt, black belt.
Hell
I
yeah.
haven't competed for about a year and a half. I'll get into that.
That's awesome,
And then
man.
I
A
fought in
black belt in
MMA,
jujitsu.
did MMA, fought in MMA. And then I was like, okay, I love kickboxing too. So I'm like, I'm going to move to Thailand for a bit. And I fought in Thai. I trained and competed in Thailand in Muay Thai in a little Thai stadium. It was fun. Um, so I kind of really engulfed myself in the training. So yeah. And it's funny where I'm going with this. People are always like, oh, so then after I came back from Thailand, I was working in the oil field. This whole time I was an oil field electrician. I had the white picket fence house. I was making a lot of money. I got married. And it was kind of like doing all these things as a mask, I would say now when I look back. Like I wanted to prove to people that like, look at Dave. I was always in really good shape. And I remember my ex-wife's dad, who was a very good, smart entrepreneur, listened to this motivation stuff and just some stuff we talk about. He's like, Dave,
Yeah,
you got to
right.
work on your mental biceps too. And I was like, oh, sure. Fuck, whatever, old man. Like, even though I loved him, still love him.
Yeah.
And he would always tell me that you got to work on your mental biceps too. And it was like, I would
I
use
love
to
it.
a certain extent, like, I had the money. I was really good at martial arts. I was living in Thailand, but I'm like, I didn't love myself. Like it was like everything was a mask, right? Just to like run from the actual work.
Yeah, right.
So I would still go on a bender every 3 months. Like I was like, I was never a daily drinker. Um, anyway, I came back from Thailand. I was in the oil field. I looked back on YouTube. I made a motivational video like 9 years ago. I found it. It was like, I'm going to quit my job in the oil field and I'm going to start a gym. So I had a gym in my basement. Anyway, I'll kind of skim through this part of the story, but it was great. Quit my job in Thailand and I moved back to the town I grew up. All my buddies at the oil field table, they were like, "What are you fucking crazy? What are you gonna do?" Like, how are you gonna? I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna do what anybody. What does the 99% of the world do that's not in the specific field we're in? Because that's what everyone thinks. Well, how am I gonna stop selling real estate? Or I'm like, I don't know. What is you're only in the one you're just focusing on real estate because that's all we per se we do. Oil field.
Mhm.
There's millions of things you can do out there. So that's when I really was like, hey, this is my dream. I moved
Okay.
home. I started a gym out of my buddy's gym. I ended up growing the
Oh,
gym
jiu-jitsu
to like
gym or like gym?
so a hybrid. So I had this like before like High Rocks and CrossFit came out. I was like I was a fanatic, fitness fanatic. Back in the day, I was a personal trainer since I was like 20. That was my first job actually out of rehab was personal
Me
training in a
too.
gym. And
That's funny.
so I opened this gym and I was just like, I had no business plan. Just like, but I had this like this, like, I was like, the delusion you have to have. And the gym ended up like crushing it. Like I grew up to the biggest gym studio in
No way.
the city that I lived
Wow,
in.
that's rad, dude. Oh, cool. How old were you when this was going on?
180 members was the peak. I had two facilities. I eventually branched off into a brand new fitness studio, like per se, like a CrossFit meet, like in High Rocks. So I had a brand new fitness studio and a martial arts studio. The martial arts studio kind of was just like breaking even. It was my passion project.
Mhm.
So yeah, these two gyms they skyrocketed. 8 years. That was about 4 years ago. I sold them.
Oh, no way.
Uh,
Wow,
so I was heavy
that's
into the
cool.
gym industry. Leader. I started to speak. So yeah. So how I got on Instagram, I own these gyms, right? And I was coaching like MMA all over Singapore, all the big organizations, while running these fitness studios. But I kind of had this feeling where like I hit a peak, like I hit a ceiling. Like I was only like I don't know if it was a high. I don't know if the word like chasing that feeling, but I was like, I wanted to motivate people. So like the beginning of the classes at the gym near the end of like the last year and a half I was there, I was like, all right, I've been doing this fitness thing for so long. I'm like, it sounds funny, like a goat in a small town when it comes to group fitness. Like I like did
Mhm.
it. I did what like I loved it. I loved the people. I met so many amazing people, but I was like, I want to inspire more people. Like so at the beginning of the classes, I'd have the mic and I'd talk about life and like things I was learning. And I was like, started posting on social media. This was like 3 years ago.
Okay.
I was like, I want to get
So
into
wait, I
speaking.
want to hear that. So you had the gyms, you sold the gyms 4 years ago. Now you're moving into social media and you want to start to motivate. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, always wanted to move to
So
California
you
because I
got
was
onto
like,
social media with an objective for that. Is that correct?
well, it's kind of ironic because people like I always get this question like, when did it kind of click for you? And it's kind of ironic because during the time I was like right before I sold my gyms, I guess I was going through a hard time mentally. I couldn't get sober, um, but I was starting to really like, I'm like I always tell people, you ever have that feeling? And this is what I tell people that I work with, that you have all this potential and what you could be like if you just removed everything holding you back. It's not an addition a problem. So I started going that trajectory, and I started getting some friends that were close to me, like resenting me. And my mom got cancer, and this was 3 years ago, all at the same time, right before I was going to sell my gyms.
Why are they resenting you though? Because you're
Well, I told one of them that I told one of them successful, like, oh, Dave's killing it now. He's going out for nice dinners all the time. And I was like,
yeah.
bro, that's the fucking point. Like, I'm someone who
Dude,
wants
I know
to bring
exactly what you're
everybody.
talking about, bro. It was hard for me to catch up to that stuff. I got a lot of that stuff when I started doing some of the things that
Yeah.
I've done, and like I thought that it was hard for me to digest it all, bro.
Yeah. You're like, so wait a second, bro. You're
Yeah,
telling me, and these are people that I like, friends who turn into my employees that I
right.
was a good,
Right,
I
right.
made some fuck ups drinking. Obviously, I have my, but like, I gave them beds, condos. And I'm like, wait a sec, bro. So you're telling me you don't want me going for nice dinners? Like, would you like me to hate myself? Like, is that what you're telling me? Is that what kind of friend? Like, wait a second. I
Right,
thought you were my friend here, bro.
right.
Because that was, and I know you can, I mean, like you said, I'm sure you can relate. You know, you start seeing these like,
Well,
okay, I'm
I
like,
mean,
I gotta
that's
fucking, I remember I was in
I think it's kind of
Nicaragua.
crazy
This is a
because
moment I'll never forget.
I think that was the hardest part to catch up to was like, like I think our stories are a little bit different in regards to like I didn't get onto social media with such an objective to start to motivate. I needed an outlet, so it was kind of for me, you know. But for whatever reason, God put a hand on my channel and it just freaking blew up, dude, and like, whoa, okay. And I turned it into, monetizing it in different forms, blah, blah, blah. And I started doing really well, and I ran mortgage companies and stuff before. I've been blessed to do pretty well for a long time, not to be egotistical, just,
Yeah,
like making money's always
yeah,
been pretty easier for me. But it was more about the motivating stuff and like that. And like, yeah, man, it was hard for me to digest in regards to, your bros, man. Unfortunately, Dave, most people don't want to see you succeed, bro. I hate saying that because it sounds so jaded, but that's just the freaking truth, dude. Not more than them, at least.
no, you're
It's the way
you're
it is,
bang
bro.
on the money. And so many people struggle with this. Because this is what I mean, man. I'm so happy we're talking. We could talk about. The best part is we could talk for hours. It's like
Yeah.
I always tell people, they're like, what are they, like yesterday? I was on a podcast yesterday. I'm going on one on Thursday. I think Hopeaholics, I think it's called, and
Yeah, I
we're
was on
talking
there
about.
too. They're good. They're rad. Chad and what's her name? Nally.
But it's like that's why you said, like, I know we'd instantly bond, because it's like you just tell people. It's just so funny. It's like you got to audit your circle. It's the number one thing I tell everybody. Like, look at who you're around. Like, if you have people that are, and when you get clear sober, you get aligned on your own values. I always tell my wife, I'm the best person at reading people. In my opinion, I know, like, because I've, when you've had these
It's
people
called
around you, you
intuition,
realize
bro.
how much of a
Like
negative
the
effect, like
people,
negativity is contagious. And it's like, if you have people in your circle that don't generally want you to win, it's very hard to win, you know?
I won't even be around it. I mean, so like you articulated that in a form that's similar to how I say it, but we say it very differently. I say it in the form of we are the sum total of the 5 people we hang out with the most. Another way to say it is show me your friends, I'll show you your future. I mean, I'm 48 and
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, bro, I'm going to be very direct and blunt as I can. If you are not trying to be better than you were yesterday, I'm not letting you around me. That energy,
Yeah.
that negative mindset, that, for lack of a better way, a weak mindset, I won't have it
Yes.
around me, bro. And it's not out of judgment. That's cool. Do you? That's rad. I'm going to be around people that want to be successful. I'm not talking about bank accounts. We all want nice things. Duh. I'm
Yeah.
talking about be better than who you were yesterday. And if someone needs help, help them. Help them. Be a good human, man. Be decent. Know what I mean? Most people aren't like
It's
that, dude, unfortunately.
no, and that's why people don't understand. They're like, or they just haven't had that they haven't woke up to the fact that it's like, if you don't bring value to my life, and like you said, I'm not talking money. I'm talking
Yeah.
like energy. Like, when I talk to you, do
Right.
you make me feel
For
better? Do you
sure.
fire me up? Do you talk about,
Right.
do some fun
Right.
shit? Like, if you're just sitting
Yeah.
there bitching about a problem and you don't want a
Right.
solution, or you're not happy that I'm fucking leveling up, like, we ain't got no reason being friends, bro. Like, and it's like,
100%.
the hand's there. If you like, and don't say I didn't give you the opportunity to come with me, because I know who, like, the kind of guys we are. Fuck, I want to bring everybody with me. That's just who I am, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's funny, man. It's funny because similar story. I mean, I've been blessed to be able to introduce some rad people. One of the questions I asked, I went out to Sean Whalen's house, a guy I respect heavily. I've always loved lions, not sheep. I asked him the same thing. I said, man, when you started getting successful, did you find that nobody wanted you to be successful? He's like, hell yeah, man. He's like, you rise alone, bro. He's like, when you start elevating, you elevate alone, man. It is what it is. Because most people don't want to elevate. If you want to be great, everybody wants to be great, right? But
No one
nobody
wants to
wants
do
to
what it
pay the
takes to be
tab.
great.
Nobody wants to pay the invoice. It takes work,
And what
bro.
they don't
It takes
understand is
email.
the paying the invoice for where they are is way harder. That's what I tell
Well,
everybody.
yeah, you're
I'm
right.
like, you're paying a way harder fucking tax, man, of waking up one day being like, I wish I would have just tried a little,
All right.
a little longer. I wish and that's most people, and I think a big reason that most people do it or don't do it is because I know it is because like you and I know I talk to so many people like they're so worried. They're like, well, I want to grow my social media brand. I'm like, bro, like, well, what are you afraid? What Jared next door might think? I mean, you mean the guy who's fucking been divorced twice with who's a raging alcoholic living in his mom's basement?
Yeah.
You're worried what that
Right.
guy think? Like, and that's what
Right.
they're so afraid of being misunderstood. But they don't understand that being understood means, usually fitting into the normal when normal is bro broken, depressed, fat,
Yeah.
lazy, given up. Like, so it's like you care about that opinion.
That was the genesis of me starting the fitness channel, Dave, was I was at the park one day and mortgages, I've been a mortgage banker for 22 years, and it's always been good to me, and I put some money away and was smart with investments, blah blah blah. So when it slowed down during COVID, at the end of COVID, I was just, kind of figuring out what I was going to do. And I took my son, it was before my second son was born. I took my son to the park and I was at the park and there was other fathers. I think there was three other fathers. And, I'm playing with my boy and this isn't judgment. I'm just saying I'm playing with my son. I'm up on there and playing with him and all that. And I'm looking at these other dads, all three overweight, all three with their phone in their face and their kids are like, dad, and they're not paying any attention to them. And I remember thinking this exact words to myself. Damn, man, we're better than this, man. We're better than this,
Yeah,
dude. And that was the genesis of my fitness channel. And the plot that I had was my goal was to get overweight men off the couch, over 40, men over 40 off the couch so they could spend more time with their kids. That was the genesis, man. I
yeah,
wrote it down. I had it on my wall. I'm big on writing goals down and stuff. And I just started putting out content, man. I can't say that I was planning on trying to make it a job. I don't know, dude. I don't even know really. I just started doing it. I just
yeah.
started putting out content. I started putting out content that made something that I would want to watch. And it just freaking blew up, dude. And here's the reason I think both of our channels do well, in my opinion, and most of the people I talk to.
Yeah.
Be authentic, man. Just be authentic. Just if you can portray who you really are into your post, people are gonna flock to it. Why? Because the world is full of shit. Everybody is full
Yeah.
of shit. Like,
Yeah.
not everything's peaches and donuts and cookies and shit. Like, you got to show some of the raw too. I did a post about like one night I was exhausted, dude, and I was done with some stuff, and I met my wife and got some food, and I was tired. I was agitated, and my son was being a pain in the butt, and I was kind of yelling at him, blah blah blah. My wife pulled me aside. She's like, "You're better than this. This is not you. You're better than this." And I caught myself. I'm like, "Dude, you're right." Like, I'm taking my day on my son, and as we were walking out of the restaurant, I said, "Hey, bud. Dad was wrong. I shouldn't have yelled at you, blah, blah, blah." And I was explaining to him why. And I said, "I just want to say I'm sorry." And the next day, the point of that story is this. The next day, I made a reel and I made a post just talking and said, "This is what happened, man." And it blew up. Why? I wasn't saying good job. I was trying to be real, that like we
Really, yeah.
show authentic selves, man.
Yes.
And because again, the world is so full of shit, people are gonna flock to authenticity, bro. Period. That's it.
No,
Because the
we
world's a
live in a
ruse.
world. I try not to scroll much anymore on social media because it just like
Me too.
I don't know if it pisses me off, but I guess I'm like, man, it's just like I want to, we want to make a difference on social media, and yeah, it's just the world is full. It's like it's full of this image, right, of what happiness is, but happiness is an inside job, and can
That's
it's who can portray the whatever, but that's why people do, like nowadays, like you said, I get people like, how do you grow your page? I'm like, bro, can you just be yourself?
it.
Because
That's literally it.
that's the
Dave,
biggest gift. People understand the freedom that comes with like
Oh, dude, it's
You know what
liberation,
that means?
man. Like,
It's
just be if
allowed
like even
you.
if you're an asshole, like if you're a prick and you're just kind of a
Yeah.
dickhead, just be a
Yeah.
dickhead on your reels, dude. Like, at least you're
Yep.
real, and like people will like this guy is kind of a prick, but I like him because he's real. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, it's the truth. I did
And it's, you know what the
after
crazy part is? It's way easier. It's easier being yours. Like trying to be someone else is the hardest fucking thing you'll ever do in your entire life.
I know, bro. Like, dude, you know what? Like, you know, you see some people and like you see some people that they're trying, and I love anybody that's trying to be a better person
Yeah.
and stuff, but they're putting shit out there, and I know them. I'm like, that ain't you, dude. Like, you're not
Yep.
like I can see through the BS, man. But that's why people's pages grow. You know, like I didn't give a shit about how many followers I had, dude. I think maybe that's why God put His hand on it. I don't care about any of that shit. Like, it made help me make money, so that's part is
Yep.
cool. Like, who doesn't want to make money? It wasn't the objective though. Still is not the objective. It's you know, my sponsor 14 years ago, man, literally said words that had literally changed the whole trajectory of me. And I speak them so often because they are so powerful, and they are sitting there staring at me all day in both my offices, hearing out my work. And great men help other men succeed. Great men
I'm
help
not
other
gonna
men succeed. He's
write
like,
that
JD,
down.
we're supposed to be great, man. And he said, great men help other men succeed. He said, you know what? Here's how we live. Sober men are men of integrity. If someone needs help, you say yes. And
Yeah.
Dave, I have lived those words for 14, almost 15 years. January will be 15 years. And I've said yes a lot of times. And it was for me to stay sober, and I that yes and that help that I have offered has not been appreciated, but that's, I guess, not ultimately the objective. But sometimes it's
Yeah.
hard to digest that you know, you give somebody some help and they are not grateful or thankful, but that's just the world we live
Yeah.
in, bro. And those are the miserable people leaving
Yeah.
comments on our page that are just like, dude,
Yeah.
what's your problem, bro? Like, you that angry? You know what I mean?
The good ones always get rewarded, bro. That's what I would. That's I always. You know, people are like, well, I tried that. I tried freaking. I'm like, try again, bro, because I'm telling you, like, you nailed it, dude. You can't let the fucking shit in the world deteriorate you off of really being yourself. Because if you're a good person, that's who you are. Don't fucking let the world try, you know, treat make you feel some other way. Because there's a lot of shit out there, and
The
that
world
hurts when you
the world is going to
help and
the
you don't get
world
the
does
help back.
not want you the world doesn't want you to be successful. It doesn't want you to be a good person. It doesn't want you to help people. So it's going to smack you off that axis, man. And if you can, if for people like us, bro, one of the raddest things that I have experienced in my sobriety is, you know, it's better a shot of dope of heroin, dude. I'm a ex heroin addict, man. And when I help other men for the simple reason of helping them because it's the right thing to do, and I'm not looking for anything in return, God looks at that and He goes, "Let me bless this guy." And He puts His hand on you, and He puts you into this little pocket, what I call a pocket of peace, and it's freaking bliss. It's freaking bliss. And the only way that you get there, in my experience at least, is helping other people with no expectation of getting anything in return. And God blesses you with that pocket of peace. And if you've never experienced it, man, I feel sorry for you because it is bliss. It is amazing. And that's where we're supposed to live, man. But again, the world don't want you there. So the world's going to throw little good looking girls when we're married and little booties shaking in their face and whatever, right? It's not going to throw a bag of dope at me anymore. I'm too strong for that. It's not going to throw a bottle of booze at you anymore. You're too strong for that. So it's going to come at you in different forms, man. So you got to knock those things out of your life. You got to get off the train tracks when you see a train coming, man. And you got to be a decent human, man. It's really not that difficult. It's humans that complicate shit. It's not
Yeah.
God. God makes it real easy. Be kind. If someone needs help, say
Right.
yes. You know what I mean? It's really
Well,
not that
there's no
difficult.
better
Yeah.
feeling. There's no better like winnings. Yeah, sure. Like, once you've like you've I don't I'm 38. I've had a lot of good highs. Like as far as like things I've wanted to accomplish, but helping other people, fucking seeing other people win that you've had a part of their joy. Like that's a selfless act, man, and that's to me
Oh,
one of the
bro.
fucking things in life.
Dude, I love that you said that. So I share about this often, dude. So some of the best days of my life, right? marrying my second wife, no offense to my first, she just wasn't the one. Second one is my girl. I love her and I will cherish her. She's my girl, man. She was here for me. So marrying her was one of the best days of my
Yeah.
life. Obviously, my kids, right? Every single one of them, just magical experiences. Like if people that don't fall in love with their children, I just don't understand it. So those three, and then obviously I have a granddaughter as well. So those are the five best days of my life. Now, other days that are equal to that, walking a man through the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous men and seeing a broken ass dude come in with no license, no nothing, a broken life, and watching his life get repaired to the degree like I've married. I asked one of my sponsors, asked me to actually marry him, and I stood in front of him and his soon to be bride and literally married them. That was the raddest experience ever. Like I saw he was broken in what God did in his life. Those are the experiences that are up there with my kids being born, bro. Like it's up
Yeah.
there with my kids being born because here's a shitty part in that. Statistically speaking, most men don't make it.
Nope.
They don't. They just don't stay sober, man. I mean, and I mean, it's the same stuff with like losing weight and weak mindset. It's not easy. You got to put in work, dude. And most people just unfortunately are just not willing to do it. You know what I mean? It's simple
Well,
truth, man.
that's why community is so, because that's what I do. I have a community. It's called Not for Hire. I'm actually starting a clothing brand too. And Not for Hire stands for running your own race, man, and surrounding yourself with people that, have a life that can't be taken away from them, built by setting the standard.
Love it.
And people don't have one of them. I know, I'm sure you know this, like most common things people have, like, wow, I don't have anybody to talk to. Yeah, no shit. Cause you're hanging out. You're like, and they think it's like a them problem. Okay, bro. I always ask people, give me a little rundown on what your life. Give me a week in your life. Give me 4 days. What's a weekend look like?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
well, I go to the sports bar and I watch. I don't even like football, but I watch football because that's all the only friends I have. And then
Right.
we go drink, and I'm like, hey man, just so you know, I'd be more depressed than you. So it's not a you problem. Because if I
Like
went and lived,
it's depressing listening to the story.
I'm
Right.
worse than you. So
Yeah.
it's your choices, bro. And most people, it's the ego though. It's the ego thinking they know better. And it's like, bro, if you knew better, like I'm telling you, I don't know even how I have to tell you you don't know better. Just look at your life,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's all
sometimes,
based
man, that's why I think
on.
it's important that God will put men like us in other men's life. It's that iron sharpens iron. It's Proverbs 27:17, man. I love it. It's tattooed on me. It's all over my office for a reason, man. Iron sharpens iron. So sometimes it takes guys like us shining a light on which is so obvious, and then it's right next to them. They're like, "Oh shit, I can't believe I didn't see that." But we shine a light on it, which is little wins, dude. Like, so what I do with my people that I coach and sponsor and all this stuff, I say, "Listen, man, time you wake up. Some are 9, some are 6, whatever." I said, "Listen, you need to set your alarm clock 2 hours early. Why? Because it's going to
Yeah,
sting, and you want to sting, and then you need to set in your brain." Never hit snooze again. I did that 14 plus years ago, bro. I made a promise to myself. I'm gonna make something of myself. I was in sober living. I was watching all these dudes hit snooze all the time. I literally was like, I'm not gonna be like them. Like, I'm not doing that. So I'm never gonna hit snooze again. And I kept my fucking word, bro, for years. I don't hit snooze, bro. I get it before my alarm at this point, but like I cultivated that. And like I
yeah,
say it, and it's like, you can take my thing and make it your thing. Don't ever hit snooze again. What's the first decision of every day? Alarm clock. Will you get up like a badass, or will you hit snooze like 97% of the people? Make the first decision of every day be the right one. Get up. Make something of yourself, right? I call it earning the sunrise. I come in this office, right, at 4 o'clock in the morning. I pray, I read from books, and then I meditate, and then I end with the prayer on my knees. That's me. Doesn't mean to be you. That's my thing. But I
yeah.
earn the sunrise, man. And I don't look at my phone for an hour. And I have no doubt in my mind that that has been one of the biggest things in regards to the cultivation of who I have become, because I earn it, baby. Right? Like you do. Like it's like these aren't just like you don't just like become these things, bro. They take time, they take action, they take repetition, they take consistency. And like, yeah, it's hard at first, man. Remember when you learned to text? It sucked. How do you text? And then now all of a sudden you're texting all the time. It's easy now because you're doing it all the time. You know what I mean? Same shit. You know what I mean? Repetition, repetition,
Well, and
repetition.
it's just so funny because people are like, oh well, man, it just you don't get it. It's like I do. That's why I'm really trying to show you this. And like you said, you
Yeah.
set the standard for your life by doing that. And it's
Yeah.
not that, like you said, it's not that hard. It just,
Once you get it.
because yes, because, and like,
It's not
it's just
that hard.
crazy.
If you, but like the thing is, if you do it like I say, stack little wins. Like right. So if you say
Yeah.
you're going to get up at 7 o'clock every day, you do it for a week. You just stacked 7 little wins every single day. They compound, and then you know what happens when you say you're going to do something and you do it for enough days. You find self worth. When you find self worth,
Confidence
you
is
find
such a
empowerment.
word.
It's empowerment, bro. Like when you find
Well,
in the
that's what I was
empowerment
going
of
to say.
it's
I was
it,
going to
right?
say that
Like
I kind of lost track of what I was thinking about here because I was like just thinking about your morning routine, and I was what I was trying to say is like that people think that morning that your morning routine, like, oh, that's just the cheesy stuff they say. I'm like, hey man, try it, because
that's it,
your
dude.
life is a result of not being able to do anything for longer than
Yeah.
3 days.
Getting up when you
So
want, man, and just like hitting snooze 5 times.
well, because everyone, like, like when I own my businesses, I work with guys starting their online businesses. Everyone thinks it's I need a new system, or I need a new ad, or no, dude, you need this. You need to be confident enough.
Right.
You need you need less shit. All you need to do is be able to trust yourself and have self-confidence based on keeping these small
Word.
promises to yourself, like a morning routine.
Hell yeah, man.
Because most people, they've been so out of routine and so used to breaking the promises to themselves, they're looking for anything they possibly can except what's actually going to move the needle for them. And that's
100%.
keeping the but
Well,
it
dude,
starts
like
in the
so
morning.
well, so like you like what you just said, like the routine and like keeping your word, the empowerment of keeping your word is so powerful and so many people don't touch it. So if you say you're going to do something and you do it long enough, you become empowered, right? And you taste this empowerment, and it's literally like better than any drug that I've ever had. But on the flip side of that, if you say you're going to get up early and you make a commitment and then you don't get up early, it's not what's the opposite of empowerment. It's total opposite. So you're
Yes,
feeling like a piece of shit. If you're full of anxiety, if
I'm
you're
a
full
liar.
of like discomfort, just not feeling right, you're not living up to your potential, bro. And then God's screaming at your soul, "You're not doing it right." You know what I mean? Like, of course you're going to feel anxious. You're not living up to your God-given potential to be great. It's very simple.
It's like
You
friend.
know what I mean?
There's that saying. It's like, hey man, if you were buddies with someone and they constantly told you they were gonna fucking meet you at the gym at 6 a.m. and they constantly like, bro, we're gonna lose 20 pounds this year, and they just lied to you over and
Yeah.
over. Would
Same
you
shit.
ever fuck with that person? And you'd be like, no. Well, no
Yeah.
wonder you don't like the person you see in the mirror, because that is you.
Right. Same thing. You're lying to yourself, man. Like, dude, you get two. If you say you're going to show up 2 times and you don't, sorry, man. I got no time for that. You get two
Yeah.
times. That's it. Man, we could talk forever. I know you got to go get to jujitsu, dude. So, man, we could talk forever. We'll get you back on too because, man, I just love talking to you guys like you, dude. And,
Right. We
we
got to
got
get
some
some
stuff
steak. We got to
brewing.
get a steak and a lift.
Yeah, bro, definitely, man. Justin and I hung out recently, and we're gonna be doing some stuff that are gonna bring in a bunch of people together. I'll bring you in on that here soon. Guys like you and me, and like a lot of people in one group to do some cool stuff, bro. So you'll be included in that. I'll reach out to you about that soon. But before I let you
Yeah.
go, man, let's tell people where to find you. How's the best way to find you if people want to talk to you and get some coaching and mentoring and all that stuff? How do they find you?
We stick to the basics, baby. At Dave Puhky on Instagram. DM me.
Yep, I
That
love it,
simple.
man. And yep, he's great. You
Follow.
can find him. I'm friends with him, so you can, and we'll obviously link him here and all this. But I loved it, bro. I knew I was gonna enjoy this conversation. It's finally good to
And
talk with you,
likewise.
bro. And go get to jujitsu and kick some ass, bro. And I'll hit you up later.
Okay, first to many, brother. Great to finally connect. This is
All
awesome.
right, everybody. That
All right,
is
let's
the
win the
end of
day,
the
baby. Let's
podcast.
go.
Remember this: you're a warrior. That's all I got.